Okay, the topic is glutathione deficiency and kidney disease, a hidden risk. So let us first revise on the kidney functions. And most of us are familiar with the excretory kidney function, that is excretion of excess water and toxins and some other stuff. And the kidney is basically a filtration organ, filters out much of the stuff, but it does reabsorb many things that are required, and also secretes, right? As opposed to filtered, I mean, it comes in the blood, but some of the things the kidney itself processes and secretes out into the urine, okay? Plus, at the same time, it also secretes some hormones. So these are most of the functions of the kidney: regulation of inorganic ions, and the regulation of water balance and osmolality, excretion of nitrogenous waste, urea, creatinine, and you see urea, creatinine, then you see why when you do your blood test in the kidney function, then you can see both urea and creatinine being measured. Excretion of foreign chemicals, including the drugs that we take, and regulation of pH and bicarbonate that maintains the pH. Synthesis of renin, which helps regulate our blood pressure, and synthesis of erythropoietin for the production of red blood cells, and activation of vitamin D3, and gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is the manufacture of glucose, as opposed to glycogenolysis, which is the breakdown of glycogen, the glucose storage, the glucose store, into glucose. So that is glycogenolysis, but this is gluconeogenesis, manufacture of glucose. But of course, the liver is a more important organ for both gluconeogenesis and glycogenolysis. Okay. And then these are some of the hormones secreted by the kidneys. We have mentioned erythropoietin. We have mentioned renin. There's another one, that thrombopoietin. Okay, and the activation of vitamin D3. Vitamin D3, for many years, we just treated it as a vitamin important for bones. But over the last few decades, we have discovered that vitamin D3 is actually a hormone with many important functions beyond the bone. It's important for the brain, for the heart, for the lung, for regulating sugar, and also for anti-cancer, and many other important functions of vitamin D3. So the kidney activates it into the active form. So for the lay person, so these are the functions of the kidneys. It regulates the water, regulates the blood pressure, it gets rid of wastes. It's important for bone health because vitamin D is activated in the kidney. And then important for acid-base balance. And it's important for heart health because the health of the heart depends on the balance of electrolytes, on the blood pressure. All these are regulated by the kidneys. And of course, the blood itself, because erythropoietin is produced by the kidney, and that is a hormone to instruct the bone marrows to produce red blood cells. Earlier on, at the bottom there, thrombopoietin is for the production of platelets. Okay, so both the kidneys produce. So because of these many functions, the kidneys are essential for life, right? There are not all our organs are essential for life. But the kidneys are among the vital organs. You know, you cannot function without brain, you cannot function without heart, without lung, without kidneys. Of course, you can function with one kidney without having both. Okay. So kidney disease in Malaysia, on the average, we tend to be worse than the world average. 3 years ago, about 10,000 new kidney patients registered annually. Now, 2025, probably 10,000. That was 3 years ago was 9,000. The prevalence of chronic kidney disease is increasing. Estimated 1 in 7 of the 33 million adults have various stages of CKD. 1 in 7. Okay, 2021, about 50,000 were on dialysis. More than 10% were on peritoneal dialysis, and the rest were on hemodialysis. And the prevalence of chronic kidney disease had gone up from 9% in 2011 to about 15.5% in 2018. I'm sure it's a lot more now. And now we are 7 years since these figures. So the question posed is glutathione deficiency a hidden risk factor for kidney disease? So to answer that, we need to know what is the role of glutathione in kidney function or kidney health. The kidneys are highly dependent on an adequate supply of glutathione to maintain normal function. And this is mainly due to the high rates of aerobic metabolism, particularly in the proximal tubules. And we know why, because the kidneys have to do many important functions. And the filtration starts in the proximal tubules. That's where all the hard work starts. Additionally, the kidneys are potentially exposed to high concentrations of oxidants and reactive molecules. So because many things are sent to the kidneys for excretion, and sometimes also for deactivation first. So the renal cellular concentrations of glutathione are maintained by both intracellular synthesis and transport from outside the cell, meaning the kidneys requires so much glutathione, its own production is not enough. So it has to rely from supply from outside of the kidneys, okay? Exogenous sources, all right? So the liver, especially in a healthy person, may produce plenty and then send to the blood so that other organs, example like the kidneys that require, may benefit from the glutathione in the circulation. And then in the kidney cells, then you have the mitochondria. You know, any organs that work hard, then the mitochondria will be very busy because every action, every work needs energy. And the mitochondria produces a lot of free radicals as part of its work, byproduct of its work. And it requires a lot of glutathione to protect itself from damage by the free radicals it produces. Now, the mitochondria does not produce glutathione. It has to take glutathione from the cytoplasm of the cells. So just now, I mentioned that the kidney cells do not produce enough of glutathione for its requirement. So it has to depend on outside also. And then the mitochondria does not produce glutathione. So it has to take glutathione from the cytoplasm of the cell. And the maintenance of the mitochondrial glutathione pool is critical for cellular and mitochondrial redox homeostasis. Redox just means reduction, oxidation reactions. And is important in determining susceptibility to chemically induced injury and apoptosis. Okay, so the level of glutathione in the mitochondria will determine how susceptible the mitochondria is to damage, and for the whole cell to die or not. Apoptosis is a programmed cell death. Because when the cells are damaged, then beyond repair, then the system triggers a programmed cell death, and this will prevent the cell from mutating and turning into cancer. So apoptosis is a protective mechanism. Oxidative stress resulting from an imbalance between pro-oxidant and antioxidant systems in favor of the former, that is, they largely contribute to immune system dysregulation and complications observed in end-stage renal disease. Meaning, right, so those with chronic kidney disease at the late stages are in a state of oxidative stress because there are more free radicals than antioxidants. And this causes a disruption in the immune function, as well as other complications that we see at the late state of kidney disease. So people with end-stage renal disease or kidney disease suffer a lot of complications, including their immune system are also damaged. Chronic renal disease itself also induces a state of oxidative stress. So this is a vicious cycle. Oxidative stress causes kidney damage causes oxidative stress, right? I repeat, chronic renal disease itself also induces a state of oxidative stress long before the end stage and worsens with renal failure progression. Okay, so if we don't stop this process, you are really going downhill, because the worse the kidney disease, the worse is the oxidative stress. So bearing that in mind, for the health, to protect the health of your kidneys, antioxidant therapy should begin early if you have problems. Antioxidant therapy or supplementation should begin early if you want to prevent the starting of chronic of renal disease. The glutathione system, including its enzymes, is severely impaired by dialysis. Patients on dialysis have lower glutathione than non-dialysis patients of equal ESRD, all right, end-stage renal disease. Meaning, so when you get to the stage where you require dialysis, you have, say, two patients, both requiring dialysis. As far as the glutathione system goes, the one going for dialysis will be worse. Okay, so the one who does not go for dialysis will have a higher level of glutathione than the one going for dialysis. Reason being, the dialysis itself will deplete the glutathione. But I'm not saying that this patient should not go for dialysis. It's just a reminder that those who are going for dialysis have more reasons to think about replenishing their glutathione. Right? Because of course, the one not going for dialysis, even though the glutathione is spared, but there are many other complications, because they have uremia, you have creatinemia, meaning there will be overload of urea and creatinine, and then there will be electrolyte imbalance, etc. Because that's why they have to go for dialysis. But unfortunately, dialysis itself will deplete the glutathione in someone who already has low level of glutathione. All those with late stage chronic renal disease have very low glutathione, and when they go to dialysis, even that is knocked out. So, but studies show, even in these patients, the administration of a cysteine prodrug, that is the glutathione precursor, resulted in a significant rise in whole blood glutathione levels at 7 and 14 days compared with baseline, in contrast to the placebo group. Meaning, even at that stage, it is still possible to rescue, still possible to bring up the glutathione levels by using glutathione precursors. So under the oxidative stress state, glutathione is oxidized to GSSG, and the redox reactions are catalyzed by these two hormones, glutathione peroxidase and GSSD reductase. So the glutathione peroxidase will catalyze the reaction to neutralize the free radicals, and in particular the peroxides, and the GSSG reductase will catalyze the recycling of GSSG to GSH. So therefore, adequate amounts of glutathione and the enzymes are needed to maintain healthy kidneys, and defective renal glutathione metabolism is a signature of renal aging. And if your kidneys age too fast, the whole body will also age fast, because all the other organs to remain healthy will need to depend on us having healthy kidneys. So the answer to that question is yes. Glutathione deficiency is a major risk factor for kidney disease. Okay. Earlier on, we have seen how those with severe renal disease and who go for dialysis, then their glutathione becomes depleted. At the same time, the enzymes, the glutathione enzymes are also abnormal, and they are in a bad state of oxidative stress. So this condition, glutathione depletion and severe oxidative stress, may increase the risk of developing cardiovascular and many other diseases, because, as I mentioned earlier on, all the other organs need the kidneys to be healthy for them to remain healthy. And don't forget, apart from discussing the free radicals, antioxidant, and oxidative stress, the kidneys are also perform the function of detoxification. So toxins are sent to the kidneys to be detoxified. But if its detoxification capacity is very much reduced, then these toxins, instead of being detoxified, being neutralized, can start causing further damage to the kidneys. So many medicines and drugs are excreted via the kidneys, and their high concentration would otherwise or can harm the kidneys if the kidneys are not healthy enough, and in particular not having enough glutathione to not only protect itself but also to do the work of detoxifying. Okay, we have concentrated on the kidney disease, but remember, low glutathione is associated with sorry, many other diseases. More than 100 diseases have been studied and found to be associated with having low glutathione levels. Okay, in fact, almost every known disease is associated with having glutathione deficiency or depletion. So glutathione is crucial for the maintenance and promotion of health of all organs, including the kidneys. Okay, to make matters worse, as part of our aging or programmed aging, our glutathione levels will start going down by 10 to 15% every decade, starting from about age 20. By the time you're 40, you are significantly down within the levels of glutathione. By the time you're 60, then you are really in trouble. By the time you're 80, you're really in trouble, unless you do something to boost up your glutathione. Okay, so because the depletion of glutathione will cause oxidative stress, reduce immune function, increase toxicity, and reduce signaling capacity, and many more problems. So how do we increase glutathione? First thing to remember is that glutathione taken orally is not well absorbed. Glutathione is present in the food that we eat because the plants and animals also use glutathione to protect themselves. But unfortunately, glutathione is a fragile molecule that gets digested when we eat. And even most of the orally taken glutathione are also digested with a very poor net absorption rate available. So what do? We help the cell to manufacture glutathione. So fortunately, even though with age, the capacity of the cells to produce glutathione is not as good as when they're young, scientists have discovered a way to encourage the older cells to increase the production of glutathione. And the way to do it is to provide the rate-limiting precursor, which is cysteine. Okay, so remember, glutathione taken orally is not well absorbed, and we need to supply with glutathione precursors. And the most important precursor is cysteine because it is the rate-limiting precursor, meaning the other two precursors, glutamic acid and glycine, are usually plentiful in our diet unless you're severely protein deficient. Unless your diet is severely protein deficient, because these are amino acids, they have to come from proteins. But in the for the majority of us, it is enough just to take cysteine. But cysteine itself is fragile, so it has to be in a stable form. And this stable form are usually in supplement form, where the cysteine is combined with another molecule to protect it. And the best such cysteine compound available is ribosine. And what is ribosine? Ribosine is a combination of D-ribose attached to the L-cysteine. Both are natural molecules. D-ribose is a natural sugar. Cysteine is a natural amino acid. So this combination then protects the cysteine, and the cysteine can withstand our stomach and intestines and can be absorbed and made available in the cells to make glutathione. And the marvel of ribosine is that the ribose, other than protecting the cysteine, it is also useful because our cells use ribose to make ATP, which is the energy-carrying molecule, and ATP is required in the synthesis of glutathione, which explains why ribosine is 300% more efficient in boosting glutathione than the next best precursor, which is NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine. So this is a schematic representation of the synthetic synthesis of glutathione. So you can see before the final product glutathione is synthesized, the process has to go through two steps in the combination of first glutamic acid and cysteine. And that step requires ATP, and then the next step, the two glutamate cysteine, two amino acids already need to be combined with the third amino acid, glycine, also requires ATP, right? So ribosine, this magic molecule, provides both the rate-limiting amino acid cysteine and the ribose to boost ATP to provide the energy for this synthesis. Okay, so you understand now why ribosine is 300% better than NAC in boosting glutathione. So indeed, you need to boost glutathione if you want to have healthy kidneys and protection from kidney disease. And you need to take, the best available precursor is ribosine. And this comes in the form of Max 1, which is 100% ribosine. Or you can take Cellgevity, which is 100% which is the same dose in the recommended dose. It has the same amount of ribosine as Max1, plus it also has 12 other ingredients which provide many other health benefits, which make Cellgevity an anti-aging powerhouse. Thank you very much.